High Velocity Wrestling is a professional wrestling promotion based in Western North Carolina. HVW's events provide a family atmosphere featuring old school pro wrestling with a modern day flair, giving a little something for everyone. Hey, what is up? Welcome to the HVW Podcast, the official podcast for High Velocity Wrestling. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and we're here to give you the latest HVW news, exclusive interviews, and some fun pro wrestling conversation. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The links are available in the episode's description. What's up, kids? Welcome back. Tom Clark here, HVW Director of Social Media, High Velocity Wrestling, as you well know. Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Tuesday night to you. It's bitter cold out there. That's why Tom's in here, okay? I don't do cold. Anybody knows me knows that. I'm cold. I'm not cold-natured. What's the term? I don't know. I freeze. That's all you need to know. I can't stand it. Set me on fire. I'll take it. I'm just saying. So, Christmas season is upon us. It's almost here. Santa's on his way. That's good stuff because, Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. Am I blurry? Let me get this light working here. You know it's not a mistake if it's live, right? Isn't that what they say? That's what I say. Let's try it again. Oh, that's bright. Oh, is that better, kids? All right. I got a face made for radio. I've been saying it for years. So, this should be an interesting show if all invited parties show up. Before we go any farther, let's bring on the HVW owner and promoter, Mr. Gary Benfield himself. Gary, what's up, my friend? How you doing tonight?
What's up, Tom? What's going on, man?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Hope all is well with you.
All's good, dude. I just, I always look forward to doing this thing with you, but where's he at? Is he even here?
He's been invited. He's not, I don't see him yet. He's not shown up yet. The he in question, kids, is Ivan M. Righteous, manager extraordinaire. He's got a whole bunch of titles. If he decides to show up, I'm sure he'll tell you all about it. This guy's had a problem with me from the beginning. I'm not sure why. Gary, he's had a problem with you for a long time. You didn't even know until Resurrected this year. You had no idea he had a problem with you. It's crazy.
I don't know what in the world happened. This fool's crazy.
Well, speaking of Resurrected, let's get a little bit of stuff out of the way before before this guy decides to show up or doesn't show up or whatever. We're going to do a show, kids, either way. We've got a somewhat of another lockdown coming this Friday. As you guys know, we've been trying to keep you folks up to date from the beginning on this thing. We here at HVW are working furiously behind the scenes. I wish I could tell you that we've made some forward progress. We're going to keep moving forward regardless. We're planning. We're still planning. As of right now, the show is on January 30th, Resurrected 2021. Gary, I wish I had more to give, brother, but I know we're doing what we can here.
Dude, when I seen some stuff come across the web today that, about the changes that was coming on Friday, and I don't know what's going to happen, man. I'm just ready to run a show, dude, and we got to do it the right way, though. We got to look out for the fans. We got to follow the restrictions or whatever, but let's just hope and pray that we can pull it off on the 30th.
I hope so, man. As I told you before we went live tonight, I miss going to the shows. I took my kid to a bunch of them last year. The three of us went to a couple together, 2 or 3, I think, last year. And
yeah, we did.
Yeah, man. I miss it. Look, we've got a few folks showing up here tonight. Dylan Gosnell says howdy. Christopher says, how's it going? Thanks for hanging out tonight, folks. We do appreciate it. Let's see. Josh. What's up, Josh? HVW referee. What's up, brother? Warm-blooded. That Josh bailed me out there. Thanks, man. Let's see. Earl's calling it the Tom Clark Nation. Brother, you misspelled it, but I'll take it. It's all right. I've been called much worse. A lot of it by the guy that may or may not show up tonight. Am I right? So,
man, this fool right here is about to kill me.
Check this out. Ryan says, I bet he don't show. I bet he doesn't either.
What channel did you say that
So
was?
Christopher says he won't be here. Shane says, I hope to learn why he has beef with you all. Brother, Shane, if I could tell you something, my friend, I'd tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. It's been a mess since we brought HVW back in January of this year.
I can't
It's been crazy. January 25th, 2020 is when we came back, and it was a mess. He came out, interrupted the show, claimed he wasn't invited, all this other stuff. It was a train wreck from the beginning, and then it continued into first strike in February. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Tom, I don't mean to keep looking down. For some reason I can't comment on my laptop, so I'm having to comment on my phone.
Oh, I see.
I mean, I don't know why I can't comment.
You did something funny then. I didn't do it to you.
Yeah, no, I don't know, brother. I mean, it don't even give me an option to even type out a comment.
That's odd. Well, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Gary, I don't know if you're seeing this, but guess who just showed up?
I can only imagine.
Well, it's ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead. He's here. He was invited. He showed up. I'm shocked. Folks, this is Ivan M. Righteous. I'll give him an introduction so he can't say I didn't. Ivan M. Righteous, manager in HVW. He currently manages the New Age Villains. Great tag team. Elijah Proctor, a star on the rise. Let's bring him on. Ivan Righteous, here you are on the podcast. And hello, Ivan.
Shut up, Tom Clark. Shut up. Hold on a second. I can't listen to you and Nathan and Ryan all at the same time. What's that, guys? Yes, we're going to talk about the conspiracies. Yes, I know. I caught that. He didn't announce me as the hottest commodity in pro wrestling, the manager's manager, the maker of mayhem, the bringer of boom, the wager of war, the instigator of illuminated truth. Shut up, Viper. And as of recently, the navigator of NAV. I am righteous. Yeah, I caught that. And I will address that. And the conspiracies. What? Hold on a second. No, Mama. No. The Christmas Shoes is on Hulu. It's not over on Netflix. Hulu.
It's ridiculous. Hulu. I can't do nothing but laugh.
Yes. I love you. I'll see you soon, Mama. I got to go. I'm in the middle of an interview. They're talking to me. I got to go. What?
Okay. Shall we try this again? I don't really know where to go from here.
I appreciate the professionalism.
Do you need me to give you a milestone, sir, about conspiracies and where we are as to where we've been? Because we haven't really gone that far, so we're just going to tell about where we've been.
If I say no, are you going to do it anyhow?
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay, then go ahead.
All right, so fine. Listen, man, listen. Every time that I come at you with a conspiracy, and this is a conspiracy, and people will have to know that I'm right. Like, take into consideration, where's my interview? Interview that I did?
What? This is the interview. What are you talking about?
No. When I
was having some issues with my earbuds.
When I got you to go and sit with Scott Larson, and I went over and I did an interview for HVW. Please tell me you haven't.
You say that you spoke to Logan Lockhart back when all this happened. Logan never, listen, this is the part where you're going to say that I'm whatever. Logan never contacted me. I don't have said interview. As far as I know, the thing never happened.
Well, look here. There's two of us saying two different things. I'm saying what I'm saying. You're saying what you're saying. Somebody's lying, and I know it ain't me.
Okay. All right. So,
and there we go again. It's as simple as this, sir. You know, you're doing the old vantage. The greatest trick that the devil did was convincing people that he didn't exist. That's it. And this is what you're doing. So every time that I say something to you, you're going to be like, well, no, that didn't happen. And see there, I'm giving you the dumb voice. So it's back and forth, this and that. As a matter of fact, right now, I said I wanted to have Nathan and I wanted to have Ryan, and you was like, oh, no. We're all scheduled for just you, pal. We're all scheduled. Well, this right here shows you guys want to gang up on me. It's plain as the nose on your faces. You're trying to keep me quiet. You're trying to keep me quiet. That's all it is.
You've had the floor for like 5 minutes. No one's had a chance to talk. So how are we keeping you quiet exactly?
That's why I went ahead and brought the rocking chair out tonight, because I knew I was just going to be sitting here listening.
Yeah.
His poor brittle bones. His poor brittle bones. So look, fine. You know what? You're obviously not ready to address the problems that I have. Either one of you are. Viper over there in his rocking chair and Rasputin over there stirring the pot. Yeah.
Rasputin,
yes.
Listen, let's just listen. As much as you don't want to hear this, I'm the host of this little podcast, okay? And as the host, it's my job to direct traffic. So I'm going to start directing some traffic because that's my job. This is the third podcast.
So now you're saying I'm fat. You're saying that I'm fat. You're saying that I'm a diesel truck coming along your highway and I need to slow it down. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You got fat out of directing traffic? Is that what you got out of that?
Tom, yeah. I told you.
Look, face to face, man to man. This is your platform. And when I say specific, don't give me a politician's answer where you're kind of skirting around it. Give me the answer. What is your problem? Because I got fans asking me, what's his beef with you? What is your problem with this company? What's your problem with HVW in general? What has happened that has got you, what's this? All right. Seriously, I want to know. The fans want to know, so hit me with it.
All right. I have hit you. The fans want to know. I have said it a million times, sir. I have said it a million times.
Specific. You can scream all day about conspiracy,
every time
but
that I say
specific.
something news that I feel is going on, you're like, oh, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. So now you're trying to convince me that I'm crazy. This ain't happening. That ain't happening. Oh, no. Where'd you get that? What horse's patootie did you get that out of? It's just a never-ending cycle. It's a vicious, never-ending cycle. So, therefore, as I have put it to you, now you're going to say, well, I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know. I don't know. Now I'm giving you the mystified voice.
I just wish that you would get specific.
I don't know where this is coming from.
Just get specific. I'm giving you the opportunity right now to get specific. Forget all the stuff you're spewing about conspiracy.
You say you sent me a letter.
Give me specifically
you say you sent me an email. I got the email 3 days after the show.
Okay. But
okay. Then anytime that I say to you, you didn't want me there, it was obvious to you. Well, that's not true. That's not true. You're one of the better people to come out of HVW's past.
I agree.
I'm not seeing it, Tom. I'm not seeing it. Then I have this interview that you have put kaputs on. Nobody knows where it's at. Nobody knows where it's at.
No, I have no idea where it's at.
You can probably go to the Bigfoot Library, and that's where it's at. Stuck away amongst the section of the Loch Ness Monster.
For all I know, the interview never happened. How about that?
What?
For all I know, the interview never happened because I've never seen it, never heard it, or anything. Gary, have you?
Nope.
See, now they're again.
I'm not even sure.
You know what? Go ahead, Viper. Go ahead.
I'm not even sure if I know what interview you're talking about.
Hey, all right. So Ivan here claims that he spoke to our own Logan Lockhart a few months back because he refused to come on the #Truth podcast, to which I was invited and told you were going to be there. You decided to not show up and then accused me of running from you. All right. So, yeah, I'm wearing my podcaster hat and no other hat is worn tonight. So, I don't know where all this is coming from. Let me bottom line it for you. And this won't be enough for you, I'm sure. Are you or are you not under contract as a manager to High Velocity Wrestling?
Yes, for the wait. Not just a manager under contract. I'm a manager under contract to the premier faction in professional wrestling today, Illuminating Truth. Now you need to get that right.
Okay, but you can't just show up in our company and do whatever you want. So you have an agreement with HVW to work in the confines of HVW. Gary, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. If you didn't want him here, Gary, would he be here?
No.
What have you got left after that? What's left? What conspiracy is left after that?
There's all kinds of conspiracies. Have you not heard about the red pill? There's all kinds of conspiracies.
The red pill.
Heck, some people are saying there was a conspiracy that went on during the election this year. But there's all kinds of conspiracies.
We're not getting into politics.
I will let you know, sir.
No politics. Be advised, I have a mute button. I'm very good at using it. I don't want to use it. I haven't used it yet. Okay, so don't give me a reason to use it. Does that work for you?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Sure, so, I'll play nice. You know what? You brought me on here tonight, and I hear from somewhere down the pipe that we want to talk about managers. Is that what we're here for? Managers?
I don't know how in the world you heard that, but yes, the plan was to discuss pro wrestling managers. And since you are one, and if you don't, decide to split and then later claim that I kicked you out or some such nonsense, you are welcome to stay. We've got plenty of fans commenting, and I'm sure they've got some picks for who they believe are the best all-time managers. And yeah, if you would like to join the discussion, you're welcome to stay.
Sure.
All right. Let's get the ticker ticking. Gary, you up for this, or are you tuned out on me?
No, let's do this thing, man. Chuck, chill. Let's do this. All right.
Let's do all we can. Don't get upset because the thing's blocking your face. It's not intentional. For goodness sake.
Don't say that. There it is again. There it is again.
See?
Why couldn't I have the upper corner right there, sir? Why couldn't I have the upper corner?
Oh my God.
Tom, just slide him over.
Yeah.
I'm not sliding anybody. I'm not doing it. No, sir. I work for you, but no, sir.
Oh, I see how it is.
All right, so let's go from one ridiculous bit of nonsense to some more ridiculous bit of nonsense in terms of character.
Oh, my goodness.
Because Bobby the Brain Heenan, despite what you have an issue with me or whoever, Mr. Righteous, no matter what you say, I'm sure you could be in agreement that Bobby Heenan, many fans argue to this day, is the all-time greatest manager to ever do it. What say you?
He is one of the greatest, absolutely. And a personal note here, I really look to his way of performing, the character that he played, the obnoxiousness, if I can be serious here for a second. Sure. I think that people who are managing on the scene today are followers of Bobby Heenan. Excuse me, not Bobby Eaton. Bobby Heenan. And really, honestly and truly, you know what? If he was here, he'd have a problem with you too.
Okay. Honestly, I can kind of get on board with that. I think you're right.
Oh my goodness,
Gary, you and I talked before about what part of the country we grew up in, the kind of wrestling that we watched. Bobby Heenan was not really involved. To my knowledge, I don't think Heenan ever worked for Crockett, did he? Am I wrong?
I can't remember Heenan ever being a part of any Crockett fed.
Well, my only exposure to Heenan was through WWF television, which as a kid I didn't really care much about. So it wasn't until I got older I could really appreciate what he brought to the game. Gary, what's your first exposure to Heenan? Was it WWF or was it AWA maybe, or how'd that play out for you?
No, it was so I never remember him as a manager. I always remember I remember him as a commentator. And there was, I think there was a storyline where he actually come out of commentating, went and managed for a little bit, came back to commentating or whatever. But, I didn't know him as a manager. I know Bobby Heenan as a commentator, and a great one at that.
Well, to our guest point, he was a great performer. He could do it all. I mean, he was great in the ring. He was great on the mic. He was great as commentator, great manager. I mean, he Bobby was all purpose, and I don't think Bobby Heenan ever made an enemy in the business. I never heard of anybody that had anything negative to ever say about him. I mean, if anybody were to follow his example, I'd say they're probably starting off on the right foot. Have we lost Ivan Righteous?
No, he's there. Oh, I see him.
Well, he's frozen. Something must be going on with his connection. There we are. He's back. Is he back? No, he's trying.
Good. Maybe to keep him quiet.
Well, you never can tell.
Somehow he'll blame this on us too.
I'm sure Tom used the button or something. I don't know. My hands are in plain sight, officer. They're right here. So, yeah.
Good Lord, have mercy.
Here is a guy that we were very familiar with in the territories and for Crockett. Well, yeah, and later on for WCW. A guy that's still going today, Paul Heyman, known at one time as Paul E. Dangerously. What's your take on Paul Heyman?
Hey, man, I like the old phone he had. You know, that old school phone that Joker used to carry, man, had an antenna on it like this long or something.
Yeah.
That thing was great. But, dude, he was a mouthpiece too. You know, just another great mouthpiece.
Did you ever have a phone like that?
No.
No?
Never did have nothing like that.
My first cell phone was a bag phone. Remember the bag phones?
Oh, my dad had a bag phone. Yeah,
that was my first cell phone.
That thing was crazy.
That thing was on a cord, and it was in a carrying case.
Too.
Oh my God! It cost so much money, and you didn't know that they charged you by the minute till you got the first bill, and you're like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
Terrible.
Riding around talking like it's nothing, and then boom, you get a $400 phone bill for a 5-minute conversation.
Yeah, no kidding. That's exactly what happened to me. I'm pretty sure that led to my financial woes at one time. I think he's back, kids. He's returned.
Yeah.
You're not going to blame me for any of that, are you?
Would it do me any good if I did? No, I'm not going to. Move along. Who are we talking about?
Well, look at the screen there, my friend. Paul Heyman. Who else? Paul E.
Paul Heyman. I like Paul Heyman. I like Paul Heyman a lot. I think Paul is what every manager
get your computer at Dollar General
when it comes to working the microphone.
Yes.
He can take somebody who doesn't have a voice and make them awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Brock Lesnar owes Paul Heyman his career, in my opinion.
I completely agree.
I mean, Brock is a freak of nature. He's a specimen. He's all the above. He's everything they've said he is and more, of course. But without Paul Heyman, in my opinion, Brock's another jacked up, athletic, former amateur wrestler. That's my opinion. But with Heyman, he's a freaking megastar. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
he has no mouth. He can't speak.
Oh, and we've heard him do a promo, and it's not pretty.
No, it's not pretty.
It's not pretty. I like talking about this next man because this is a guy, much like Heyman, is a true manager in every sense of the word, James J. Dillon. A guy I enjoyed seeing the crap get kicked out of as a kid. I loved it so much because he was such a bad dude with the Horsemen. What's everybody's take on J.J. Dillon?
I think the Horseman would never have been the Horseman without James J. Dillon. I mean, dude, that Joker was just great. He cut some of the most cool, calm, just badass promos back in the day that, nobody, almost on the Flair level, JJ could get it done.
And had those suits, he always looked the part.
Always looked the part.
Well, I'm going to say this, if I may be so bold here. I wonder what it would have been like for J.J. Dillon had he have gone with somebody and been more like a Paul Heyman type of manager. I mean, really, honestly and truly, J.J. Dillon, he didn't have to say a word with the Four Horsemen, as the Horsemen were used to cutting promos on their own.
Right.
So I just think Absolutely, he was a great manager. Absolutely, he fit in. But it was a case of guys that didn't necessarily need a manager that he did that. So I would have liked to seen the outcome.
Well, as we know, he was
I mean,
actually Tully's manager until he brought him to the Horsemen, right?
Right.
Tully
But even coming in with Tully really didn't need a voice. Tully could do it.
Oh, I mean, they all could. I mean, all the Horsemen could get it done.
Tully could make you hate him with just how you doing.
It's true. And so, let's don't forget that JJ also managed Buddy Landell. He managed Black Bart and Ron Bass.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's some others I'm forgetting at the moment. It's an interesting question. What would have happened had he been? But you know what? For a guy like Dylan, who was already a wrestler in the past and was accomplished and was good in the ring and knew his way around on a microphone, I think he probably could have rose to the occasion had he been given the opportunity. I believe so.
Absolutely.
Keeping it. Go ahead, Gary.
As a wrestler, you saying?
Yeah, he was a wrestler back in the day. Yeah.
Really, I didn't even know that.
I think he worked in the AWA, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh man, that was one of those feds that almost fizzled out as I started becoming a big wrestling fan. They were barely just hanging on.
Yeah.
But back in the 80s and early 90s, they had their moment with ESPN.
That's what I was about to say. That's the only time I ever saw it was when it came on ESPN.
But I'll be honest with you, some of those shows that they show on ESPN at the Showboat in Las Vegas, some of those shows were hard to watch. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
We got Wahoo past his prime. God bless Wahoo. Got past his prime, doing what he could do. AWA let a lot of guys in the ring that maybe shouldn't have been in the ring, maybe weren't physically cut out to be in the ring. But you could say that about a lot of companies back in the day, where you look at the guy's body, you're like, this is who's in the ring right now? Like, what's this guy's name again? So, and much like Crockett's TV at that time too, AWA's TV, Vern Gagne, we should remind everyone, Vern Gagne's AWA. A lot of their TV was formatted with, if you had 5 matches, 4 of the matches didn't mean anything. And then the main event would have been something big. But the 4 matches leading up to it were just showcase matches for their top stars. So nothing wrong with that, but you couldn't really do that in 2020. Fans expect a whole lot more than just that, which has got its good, negative, bad sides, right, Gary? Because without a showcase match, you can't really show off one of the talents that you're proud of or that you feel is on the rise, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's always what I like to call just a shine match, a match to let a couple talents just shine, to go out and get in front of a crowd. Sometimes that might be better than your main event. And
it's no mystery how that kind of stuff is planned, kids. You take maybe a newer wrestler, a guy who hasn't been doing it that long, he's still trying to get his feet under him, and you book him against somebody that's got 5-10 years worth of experience. We kind of know how that's going to play out. So when those matches are on the card, yeah, you kind of say, well, this kind of sucks or whatever. But at the same time, like Gary said, it's a way for that bigger star to get a shine. And honestly, Ivan, you probably, hopefully will agree with this. I mean, that's one of the reasons I think why Hawk and Animal caught such fire the way they did back in the day. They just steamrolled over every. They might have been no name tag teams, but when they got to the big name tag teams, it meant more because they crushed so many guys on their path to the top.
Oh man, the LOD used to. I mean, them jokers had 30-second matches.
Yes, they did.
If that long. I mean, it was insane, man. Just hit the ring and beat the crap out of 2 guys, pin them, and leave. 30 seconds.
This was an unintentional segue, but since we're talking about Hawk and Animal, let's talk about Precious Paul Ellering, another guy who was a former pro wrestler himself, an accomplished pro wrestler, was good in the ring, had a great body, took care of himself, still takes care of himself. And I've got a soft spot in my heart for Paul Ellering because I was always a Hawk and Animal fan, and I love Paul. His image, the dark glasses, the suit, the Wall Street Journal in his hand, the thinking man's manager. Ivan, would you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. From what I hear, he was a true manager in every sense of the word. If those guys need water, he got water. He kept up with their dates. He picked them up. He made sure that they were taken to the shows. Just the quintessential manager.
And honestly, give credit where credit's due. This is much in the same way that you currently manage Nathan Cross and Ryan Raleigh, the New Age villains. You're very hands-on. You're actual
Absolutely.
manager behind the scenes as well. So,
absolutely,
yeah. And I don't think enough is said about Paul, and especially when he would growl in those promos and get all serious. But you hear him in the speaking voice, and he's timid,
cool,
he's
calm, collected.
Yes,
yeah,
soft-spoken.
Cool.
What about like me?
Okay, well,
and there's nothing soft-spoken about you.
What about the pairing of Paul Ellering with the AOP and how that thing kind of fell apart? Gary, I'm sure you've heard stories. Those two big boys they hurt some guys, too green, way too rough, maybe put together and put on TV before they were ready. I think they were looking for that throwback with the Road Warriors vibe, putting Paul with them. But, man, talk to me how'd that look for you when all that came together?
You know, I wasn't watching WWE a whole lot, dear. I mean, I seen them. Didn't one of those guys wrestle on the local indie circuit here as Ryan something?
You guys would know that more than I would.
No, you're talking about the Ascension. The first tag team to come out, and they tried to do the Road Warrior vibe on it, and it really, really backfired. Ryan O'Reilly, I think his name was.
O'Reilly, yeah. Okay.
No, he's with the Ascension. No, these two, I don't even know where these guys came from, but
I may not even know who you're talking about then.
This is the authors of Pain, Occam and Razor.
So I was on board with NXT during that time, and they build them really, really good. But unfortunately, there was just so much that could be done with them as far as their in-ring ability, because, as Tom said, they were a tad bit green. And when they pulled them over to the main roster at Raw, that's when they told Paul that that's where his journey ended with them, and they were going further, which goes back to what I said when the Ascension came up, after the Ascension having that great shine, that great moment that they had in NXT. They do the reveal on these guys, and then all of a sudden they're just crapped on. Same thing that happened to the Authors of Pain.
Well, man, it's the writers. They come over from NXT to Raw, and it's completely different writers, and they just write their storylines different. They don't use them the same way they were being used in NXT, and it kills it.
And Paul didn't want to go on the road at his age. He had no interest in it. So, it's a shame they keep looking at NXT as at one side of their mouth, well, it's a developmental brand, and then on the other side of the mouth, no, it's the third brand. Get your story straight. I mean, either the guys are going to stay here and prosper, or they're only here for 15 minutes. You're going to put them on the main roster and completely destroy them, which they do more often than not. It's pathetic, in my opinion.
Right.
Who
else we got, Tom? Who else we got?
Let's take some comments here. Shannon, a loyal viewer of Tom Clark's Main Event. What's up, Shannon? She said, I completely forgot about the Ascension. A lot of people have. Let's be honest. And they were hot at one time in NXT.
They were unstoppable.
Yeah,
I don't know if you watched them back then, Gary, or Viper, as I've known you for ever and a day. Listen, these guys carried the tag team division for over a year. And what they built in that amount of time, it took them milliseconds to destroy.
I never seen them in NXT. I didn't keep up with it back then.
It always takes more time to build than it does to destroy. And
absolutely.
At the stroke of a pen. Jim Ross has a favorite quote that says, the most powerful tool at a pro wrestling booker's disposal is the pen. It's the most powerful tool he has.
I can believe that.
Shannon says they killed it in NXT. Absolutely. David Cody says Ryan O'Reilly worked for NCW. There you So Ivan, we've got a question for you. Shane's a loyal fan of Tom Clark's Main Event. Ask Ivan who he was a fan of that got him hooked on wrestling.
Well, if you look in my, hold on.
Show and tell, kids.
Right here.
There you go. Mr. Wrestling 1 or 2? 2?
I didn't know you was a Dale Stepp fan.
Shut up. Hey, look, Mr. Mediator over here. We won't have these shenanigans like that crap going on. This is my platform.
All right, then use your platform. Tell the good people out there why Mr. Wrestling 2 brought you to the dance. Well,
Mr. Wrestling 2 was this guy right here. All right, so we're in Georgia. We're in Carrollton, Georgia. It's 1977, 78, 76, somewhere in there, 75 to 78. We're watching Georgia Championship Wrestling on WTBS Channel 17 out of Atlanta. Gordon Soley is calling this, and my brother has done the unthinkable and turned the channel for some kind of black belt theater, maybe monster. You remember what Saturdays were like when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was one of those, a black belt theater or the monster theater or what have you. And he turns it on wrestling, and how dare you? No, dude, you're gonna like this, is what he says. And so I pouted through the first match, and then the next match, here comes this guy with a white mask with black outlines over his eyes and his nose and his mouth. And so I thought, oh yeah. And then he did that little wiggle at one point in the match, and I was like, oh, look at this guy. And then all of a sudden, here come the knee lift. And I'm not talking about any knee lift. I'm talking about the knee lift that will take your soul from your body, set it up to the rafters, and bring it back down. That kind of knee lift. And at that point, I was hooked.
It's like the Ancient One pushing your soul out of you in Avengers, right? In Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Except he's coming off the top rope. Boom, there it is.
Think about this, gentlemen. The knee lift was a finish. And that wouldn't work today. That, for better or worse, a lot of times for worse, in my opinion. I mean, Randy Savage's elbow off the top. No one ever kicked out of that. I mean, all these other things, and people talk to me about, oh, well, Tom, it's 2020. The athletes are so much more well-trained. Shut up. There's such a thing as, I don't want to say telling a story, but say telling a story. We try to pull the curtain back too much here on the show, but you guys are pretty smart out there watching and listening right now. You guys probably know how a lot of this stuff works. I mean, it's, I don't know. There's just something to be said for this move is feared above all else. What are you showing me? What are you talking about? Hooking you? Is that what it is?
I'm telling you right now.
Yes.
The person that endures 2 knees to the head and then a Mr. Wrestling 2 knee lift off the ropes, the guy is done. Not only is he done, he is going to the cardiac unit, the IC unit, and he's going to be going to the baggage checkout. That's all I'm saying.
You're a fool. Hey, look at David Cody's comment, Tom.
I see that, yeah. I tried to put cursing up on here. You guys can read that, right?
I can't see anything. It's all good.
Says, Gary, that was funny. You called him a Dale Stepp, Mark, LOL.
Tom, there's...
I assume there's a story.
Yeah, there's a man/promoter that lives in the Hendersonville area that promoted shows around here for years, and his name's Dale Stepp. But he tells everybody that he was Mr. Wrestling number 2.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's one.
That's crazy.
Mr. Wrestling number 2.
We're going to go from Crockett here to the territories and then back to WWF. The mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Now, Jimmy earned his stripes. This guy was a member of a band. I mean, he was an accomplished musician before he ever got into pro wrestling. And the energy this guy had in his prime was off the charts. I mean, a great look. Jimmy Hart still looks great, by the way. I don't know how he's found the fountain of youth or something. I don't know how he did it, but he always looked the part. He always had that high pitched voice, like a little kid sometimes. Does Jimmy Hart get the credit he deserves for being a great manager?
I think so.
He gets a whole lot of credit for getting on my nerves with that dang megaphone. God, I hated when that fool came to the ring, man.
Jimmy Hart is the guy that I heard in an interview that tells the manager, you need to look differently than anybody else. You need to shine more than anybody else. As far as like, your regular wrestling workers, you need to make a stand. You need to make it known that you're there and do something to give you the advantage. And he is actually the inspiration for my haircut.
Really?
Believe it or not. What? Yeah. That's why I wear my hair like I do.
Because it's different, because it makes you stand out.
Because it's different. And I know before that night is over, after somebody is talking, then somebody will remember something I done, and they'll be like the guy with the haircut. Because you ain't never seen no crap like that in no locker room. You know that, Tom Clark.
I've never seen it, period. So
yeah, never, ever.
Never, ever.
Well, maybe.
And when I was in high school, when I went to high school, rat tails were a thing, and I never had one, thank goodness. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
no, that's a horse's tail, and it's connected to a horse's. You know what? It looks just like that when you're standing behind it looking at it.
So wait. Okay, so look. This is what we came on here to do.
No,
this is what we came on here to do.
My bad.
It's the Christmas season. Try to be festive.
I understand it is Christmas season, but y'all have to call me a reindeer butthole. You don't have to do none of that. I'm here. I'm trying to be serious with you guys. I'm trying to talk managers, and you're talking about my delicate hairstyle. Okay?
You want to get back on topic? We'll get back on topic.
Hey, look, make fun of mine now. Okay?
I ain't got nothing to say about yours. I wouldn't do that. I would not make fun of anybody for losing that, having a sad haircut like you got. I would never say anything about that.
You guys want to keep talking about your lack of hair? Because I'm good over here. I mean,
no, sorry, Tom. This dude's a fool.
All right, so we are taking this seriously. So, Ivan, I will ask you this. When Hogan came to WCW and they had the big contract signing, they had it outdoors, they had all these people and fans and limos and whatnot. Jimmy Hart's his side man. You can't really say he's his manager. He's kind of a side man. So,
yes.
I mean, the question is, was it a good fit? The obvious answer is, well, he and Hogan were tight. Hogan wanted him there. But in terms of being a manager, I mean, it almost felt like, wow, the WWF guys are working in WCW now. Had it just been Hogan, but you had Hart with the megaphone and the loud jackets and the sunglasses, and I swear it felt to me as a younger man, it felt like these are WWF guys. What are they doing down here? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel that in that sense, remember when I told you about Paul Heyman being the guy that you need to go to talk for people who can't say anything. This is what it would look like for what I'm talking against to happen. Hulk Hogan, brother, he don't need anybody, brother. He's got the 24-inch, he's that. Whereas Jimmy Hart, okay, Jimmy Hart with Bret Hart, absolutely. Is Bret Hart a good worker? Yes. Is he a good talker? Absolutely not.
Not so much.
Absolutely not. So when Hogan and Jimmy Hart got together, I was kind of like,
Is that not the whole purpose of a manager? Is to help someone that is lacking something, like Paul Heyman with Lesnar. I mean, Lesnar would have never launched like he did without Paul Heyman.
Well, I think it is, but then you had guys who had managers, but they could talk. Rick Rude was a great I loved his promos. I loved his promos that he did. And really, honestly and truly, the manager was there just to hold his rope.
Right.
That was it. So, yeah, but in the case of Hulk Hogan, no, Hulk Hogan does not need a manager.
So he had a manager in the AWA, and correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Freddie Blassie his manager when Hogan was?
I think so.
I believe so.
He was wearing a cape and whatnot, and he would come out and show off. Listen, for anybody, and I've been guilty of criticizing Hogan over the years.
Yeah. Is that not the gimmick he did in the Rocky movie?
Yes.
Very, very close. Yeah.
It is. It is.
I've been as guilty of anybody as criticizing Hogan over the years, and I think a lot of it's well deserved, in my opinion. Okay, that's how I look at it. But sometime look up his matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's shocking. This guy could flat out wrestle. It's shocking. And you watch it and you're like, is this a guy that looks like Hogan wrestling a match? What am I looking at? It'll blow your mind. If you've never seen him actually wrestle a match, it's stunning. So the proof is there. He could do it, but Vince didn't want that from him. And the same could be said of John Cena. Vince didn't really want chain wrestling from John Cena. He wanted the 5 moves of doom. He wanted the jean shorts. He wanted the you can't see me. So that's what John gave him. But John never gets enough credit because John was very good in the ring. I'm not saying he was Dean Malenko or Eddie Guerrero or, even John Moxley, because I don't think he was. But, I thought he was good.
Man, if you think back in the day when that Joker was coming out and he'd have one color trunks on and his boots would match, and then every time you seen him, he had the exact same thing, just a different color. Everything always matched, knee pads, blah, blah, blah. You're right. He could work. That Joker was putting on some of the greatest matches I ever seen, man. And when he started that whole thugonomics crap, and, it really changed his wrestling style. I mean, it really did. But he became a freaking star, though.
To Ivan's point, anybody could wear that great gear and with a good body and work and wrestle and be great. But he stood out when he started doing the white boy rapper shtick, right?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean,
for better or worse.
It's right.
Shane hits us with some old school here. Do you know Jerry Lawler went to high school with Jimmy Hart and he got Jimmy a job in Memphis? I did know that. That's some good stuff. Yeah, Jimmy was a huge pro wrestling fan.
Oh, Larry Bell getting on Ivan. Look at Larry.
It's sounding like I know more about wrestling than you. Okay, well, I'm not going to get in the middle of that. I won't get in that.
Okay. So let me get this straight. We've been doing this show for 47 minutes, and you're really going to just string me along with talks of managers, and you're really not going to get down to the issue with me.
I thought we were doing a show. You said you would put it aside and hang out.
Look. I don't have time for your shenanigans. I don't have time for this Tom Clark, holier than thou, I'm better than you because I got the microphone. I'm controlling the media. There is obviously some shenanigans going on.
All right, kids. Ivan Righteous has been removed from the podcast. I gave it a shot. We almost went the full hour.
Did you think we would make it?
I didn't think we'd make it 5 minutes, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh, man. But the way it started, I didn't know if we was ever going to get to start talking about managers. And then I thought he was having a decent conversation there. Good Lord, man.
And he snapped on me. I wasn't even done with the show. Like he
must be bipolar or something, Tom.
Listen, if you get this guy away from a microphone for long enough, I mean, he knows his history. He's got valid opinions. I mean, it's just, look, not for nothing, dude, but you two guys used to be very tight. I mean, I know he was there for you during a lot of bad times in your life.
Yes,
you were there for him. Dude, I'd ask you what happened, but I know you don't know.
I have no idea what happened. I have no idea. Dude, all I know is when I decided to bring HVW back and I reached out to you and I reached out to him, Both of you guys were with me all through the planning stages, and then as soon as the first night happens, he comes out, cuts that promo, and he's been the way he is now ever since.
Well, all I can tell you is like you said, and you said it right, and the three of us started talking, it was you, me, and a guy named Chuck.
Yeah.
And then when the lights got turned on, the cameras were turned on, Chuck was gone.
Chuck was gone. You're exactly right.
I don't know. And NAV has agreed to appear on the show at some point. I can't wait to have them on. Yeah, I can't wait to have them on. They're a great tag team. I've always spoke highly of them. I've always spoke highly of Elijah Proctor. I take no issue with any of the three of these guys. I take issue with who they're hanging out with, but that's not my call. You know what I mean?
Right.
A couple more here, kids, before we take it home. We didn't get to everybody I wanted to talk to or talk about, I should say. We mentioned Freddie Blassie. He was a WWF guy for me, Gary. And all due respect to him.
That's the only place I remember him from was that, and it was there again, right towards the end of his career.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, same here. Pencil neck geek. He is remembered for that. I mean, he did get remembered for sure.
Yeah.
But fans been talking about Paul Bearer, of course, also known as Percy Pringle.
Brother Love.
Brother Love was
that was
Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bruce Pritchard, yeah.
Still with that company. God help us.
Good Lord.
I know. Here's a guy that gets crapped on sometimes, if I'm being honest.
Hey, I got to play Paul Bearer.
That's right. You did. Tell that story.
Yeah. Dude, it was just really cool, man. I was at my shoot job one day. My phone rang, and I knew it. I knew the number. I had it in my phone. And I answered the phone, so this is Gary. And, it was at the time, Amanda, the lady that worked in Connecticut, reaching out saying, hey, we need you to come to the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. And this was up for a Thursday night SmackDown. And, of course, I'm at my shoot job. And this was on Wednesday. So I had to ask my boss if I can tell her what's happening, ask if I can get Thursday off because I got to drive to Virginia from Hendersonville. She said I could. Right. So we took off. I took off that morning, drove. I didn't know what I was doing. When I got there, got checked in, got signed in, done everything. They actually Triple H came out. I was talking with John Laurinaitis, and Triple H come out with Paul Bearer and talked to me about what I was going to do. This was during the whole thing where Edge was feuding with Kane, and Edge had kidnapped Paul Bearer. And
right.
So that night, they had a match, and if Edge won, he got to make the stipulations at the pay-per-view, and he was going to return Paul Bearer back to Kane. So when Edge rolled Kane out onto the stage in the wheelchair, it was me. They had me dressed up as Paul Bearer, and Kane beat the crap out of me, man. It was really cool. I can pop a link up to it off of YouTube. You can find it on YouTube and watch it.
I was just looking, but my connection's slowing down on me because I'm doing so much stuff at one time. Yeah. Well, you know what? We'll put that link up on the HVW page. That's pretty sweet. Number one, Paul Jones gets crapped on. Believe it or not, I mean, I don't know if you know this or not. He gets crapped on a lot because, well, wasn't much of a manager. I'm like, what was he supposed to be? He was borderline Adolf Hitler. Remember, he had the khaki fatigues and the black boots, and he had the mustache. You're like, oh my God, what is he doing? Do you know what I mean?
And dude, the guys he was with were always, semi-main event, main event, upper mid-card guy. I mean, better than mid-card guys. He was always involved in the big stuff.
You're right. And he had Manny Fernandez and Rick Rude. When I was a kid,
yes,
they were so cool together. Never had a tag team. Yeah.
Didn't he have at one time he had what was his name?
He had Baron Von Raschke.
Yes, Pistol Pez Watley.
He had didn't he have Kabuki? No, Gary Hart had Kabuki.
Gary Hart had Kabuki.
Yeah.
Uh,
Paul Jones had Abdullah, didn't he? Didn't he have Abdullah at one time?
Abdullah the Butcher at one time, I think, and then he had didn't he have Hacksaw Butch Reed too? What Pez Watley and Butch Reed as a tag team with him?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's not.
I believe so.
It's not ringing a bell, but you could be right.
I love Pez Watley. That joke was so funny, man.
It was great. And
I crack up at him.
Speaking of Butch Reed, you're making me think of Teddy Long. He managed Butch Reed and Ron Simmons as Doom.
Oh, absolutely, as Doom, yeah.
Yeah, he was a funny manager, great referee, of course.
Teddy Long was a great manager. I liked him as a manager.
Yeah. Folks, I know we're probably leaving quite a few of your favorites off. We just tried to fit as many as we could in this hour.
Well,
here's
Chuck
one.
Killed the first 20 minutes of the show.
He was invited. It's not like he crashed the party. I invited him.
I know, but we wasted the first 20 minutes with that. Hit the button. Hit the button.
He's got an agenda. He's always got an agenda. That's a shame. He's always got an agenda. But speaking of agendas, let's wrap up on
you leaving me hanging.
What am I doing?
I said we spent the first 20 minutes listening to that. Hit the button. Hit the button.
Oh, dude, he's gone. I don't see him.
No.
Do you see him?
The hot garbage button.
Oh man, you set me up and I blew it.
Man,
wait a minute. Wait.
Hot garbage.
There it is.
I had you right there, brother. All you had to do was hit the button.
Man, you set me up and I didn't even knock it down for you. My bad.
It's all good, brother.
We'll let Kofi say it again. Say it, Kofi.
Hot garbage.
There we go. I do love that button. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, me too, dude. Me too.
He's lucky I didn't use it on him, but we'll use it in his honor.
Hey, Skandar Akbar. That's right, Shane Odom. I forgot about him, bro.
Skandar Akbar in World Class Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
Well done.
Man, he had Kamala. Didn't he have Kamala?
Yeah, I think.
Didn't he wear the mask that looked like Mr. Wrestling #2 with the safari helmet? No,
that wasn't Skandar Akbar. That was Kimchi. Kimchi.
Okay,
yeah.
That's who I remember with.
But
Kamala.
I couldn't tell you who Kimchi really was. I've never known that. It could have been somebody they just traded off. All you had to do just be the right height, the right build.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Ryan Baldwin says, "What about Zeb Coulter, also known as Dutch Mantel?"
Oh, okay. I recognize Dutch Mantel.
Shannon says Miss Elizabeth. I would consider Miss Elizabeth a valet, not a manager.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Shannon says women managers. Shannon, you want to talk about women managers? How about Sensational Sherry? I'll go for that.
Oh, absolutely.
Now that was a manager.
Baby doll too. Baby doll, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lewis with Downtown Bruno. There you go. Forgot about Downtown Bruno. Let's see. Man, I've been missing the comments. I'm sorry, folks. I've been so wrapped up here. We've got Jim Cornette's name up on the screen. Gary, as you know, this guy is wrapped in controversy pretty much all the time.
All the time.
Hates AEW, hates a lot of things, wishes death and murder and the worst possible fate on a lot of different people. And, you know, I used to listen to Jim's podcast a lot because I was always of the opinion that you need to listen to as many opinions as you possibly can. So it keeps you honest and you don't just listen to, well, this guy's my favorite. Sometimes you need to listen to people that you don't necessarily agree with. But, dude, I couldn't take it anymore. When he starts wishing death and murder upon people, I can't do it, man.
It's just constant negativity, too. And, you know, you don't always want a negative. You know, you don't always want to constantly pump negative crap into your head.
No, I can't. There's too much.
I can't. I don't listen to it either, man. I listened to it 2 or 3 times, and I'm like you. After that, I just couldn't listen to it no more.
Hates AEW. That company's making money. They're getting ground in ratings.
When things get back to normal and they can travel and get in different arenas, you watch. They'll take off. They'll take off.
I think so. They've got a loyal fan base. People watch it every week.
I agree.
So yeah, I feel like a lot of times you and I have a conversation about stuff in the industry, and we just kind of scratch the surface. That's probably what we did here with the managers. I don't want to end us on a bad note because I know we just kind of dealt with this for the past hour. But
he's commenting now.
Is he?
What about me?
What about him? I mean, I can't really mention him among the all-time greats because it's when we talk about all-time greats, we talk about guys who have a Hall of Fame 20, 30-year career behind them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'll say this if I can be selfish for just a second, because I've always give this man his due when it comes to him being a manager. Again, he's got a massive problem with you. He's got a massive problem with me and this company as a whole for whatever reason. If I can be selfish for a second, some of the most amount of fun I've ever had in this business was being a manager for you in the EOD. If I'm being straight, that was a long time ago, but that was a lot of fun.
Hey, brother, it's I've always said Bishop needs to make a return someday. You know,
Bishop,
and I'm gonna tell you something. If Ivan M. Righteous and his illuminating truth keep their crap up, Bishop and the EOD may have to make a return.
I don't know, man. That leather jacket's been hanging in the closet for a long time.
That's all right, brother. We can add a little piece of leather to it.
Nate Dogg is in the house right as we're getting ready to split. I Am Righteous is the hottest commodity in professional wrestling. Classy Freddie Blassie never was. Nate, you're just encouraging him. Don't encourage him. It's a terrible idea.
Nathan, and I like you. God. God.
Is that still present tense? I'm just asking. I'm just saying. That's a good way to make an enemy. And he said that's the
hashtag truth.
There you go.
You see Judge's comment above that?
Yes, sir. One of the first guys I did something with in the ring was Judge, and I was terrified. And I kept thinking, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up. And guess what? I screwed up. But luckily, he bailed me out, and it was all good. So I thanked him for that profusely, I'm sure. I hope I did.
Hey, my very first match. Very, 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 very first match against the Judge.
He trained you, right? Didn't he train you?
Yeah, pretty much so,
I thought so. Ryan's encouraged me to hit a button right now. Is this in response to what Nathan said?
Yes.
Ryan, if you're encouraging me to hit a button.
Hot
garbage. Absolutely.
I hit it and Kofi says it. So there you go. I could say Kofi appears on the show all the time in spirit. So
yes, sir.
I've been asked to get a Cameron Grimes button before Friday's show, and I'm going to do it. So because I love me some Cameron Grimes. I just can't help myself. Thank you, Judge. I appreciate you. All right, man. It is after the hour. We are going to take this thing home. I'm sorry that we didn't make any ground or didn't gain any ground or didn't make any leeway with Ivan Righteous. I'd like to tell you one day this will be over. I don't know if it'll ever be over, if I'm being straight. I hope so, but I'm not holding my breath, kids. So, Gary, any parting comments for the Peanut Gallery before we get out of here tonight?
Well, again, I apologize for the first 15 minutes of him ranting and raving, and I get suckered in too, and I add fuel to the fire, so I apologize for that. But hopefully, maybe next Tuesday, Tom, we can have some updates on what the restrictions are and, what the 30th's looking like and all of that kind of stuff, man. We got we got some good stuff planned for that night. So, hopefully let's just keep those prayers coming that we can get past this thing.
Well, I tell you what, while this whole thing, the whole pandemic's been into effect, we have still been planning. We've never really stopped. I mean, it's always been a continuous conversation. Even at our most busiest, it'll be a, hey, are you thinking about something? Yeah, I am. What are you thinking? And then we kind of go back and forth. So,
Yeah.
if we had the resources to run this thing, and despite a crowd, we'd do it. But listen, it's no fun without fans. I can't.
No, it's not.
It's not the same. It's not the same. We want our front
That's
row.
why we do it. Exactly right. I mean, I want to hear the fans screaming and yelling, and I want to hear those HVW chants and, those holy poop chants if something's really big. I mean, I want to hear something good, man. And
I mean, I just watched NXT War Games on Sunday, and they put on a great show, but man, it wasn't the same. I just watched the men's War Games match from last year before I watched the live show. Night and day. Not the match, but no environment, no aura, no spectacle, because there was no passion, there was no sound, no heart. I mean, it makes such a huge difference, man. So.
And it's got to feel different as a performer in the ring too, man, because I know for myself, I mean, the louder the crowd was, the more I wanted to do. I mean, I fed off the crowds, and if they were popping, I wanted to do more. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
If I didn't hear the crowd, let's finish this thing up. Let's go to the house.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, kids, I think that's going to do it for us. We should be here next Tuesday, barring anything odd happening. Now, the week after is Christmas week. Probably will not be live that week. We've all got probably all kinds of busy stuff happening that week, but we're going to try to keep this thing rolling. There'll be no main event the week of Christmas because I'm not going to do the main event on Christmas Day. So Christmas Day is for family and friends and as small of a gathering as you could possibly stand, kids, because remember, we're trying to get out of this. Can't get out if you don't do your part. So this condescending tone brought to you by High Velocity Wrestling. So for God's sake, do your part. Gary, thank you as always, my friend. It's been a pleasure.
Hey. Yes, sir, Tom. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. And guys, we'll be back in about a week. Everybody have a good rest of your week and have a great weekend as well.